Okay, let's do the next half of this lesson where we talk about your graphing calculator. Now, I have this really awesome teaching calculator that I'm going to be using. You should be using your own graphing calculator, or if you don't have one yet, you should be able to access one on your Chromebook. So we're going to start. Number 11 says we need to find a window that shows this graph. So I'm just going to start by graphing this. So in my calculator, I go to y equals. And as you will have just noticed, in the bottom part of my screen, there's a key press history. So if I ever start going on the calculator too quickly, you can pause the video and look at that history to see what buttons I hit to get to where I am or to do what I need to do. So we'll start there. Negative 0.2 x math 3 to get cubed minus 2.2 x squared plus 1.6 x plus 1. And let's graph it. Now, if we look at this, the problem specifically says find a window to show a complete graph. Really quickly, complete graph means it shows all the intercepts, it shows all the maximums, and all the minimums. We know that this is a cubic from the equation, and we know what a cubic looks like, and that doesn't look like a cubic, it looks like a quadratic. So we need to expand our window so we can see the whole thing. So we're going to go to window, and let's just double our x's. So negative 20 to positive 20. We can still stay by 1s, it's not too bad. And we know this is cubic, which means that it's going to grow fairly quickly. So let's do our y values pretty big. So let's do negative 50 to positive 50. And that is a lot of little tiny tick marks. So let's do by 5s instead of 1s. So then we don't have as many tick marks. So now let's graph. Sweet. Much better picture. You can see most of the graph, except if you look right here, you can't really see that minimum. So I'm going to make the y values go down a little bit more so that I can see that minimum right there. So let's go back to window, go back to our y min, change it to maybe negative 75, and then graph. Sweet. That looks like a cubic. Much better. We're good. So then we can go over here. The window that we use, so our x's were negative 20 to positive 20, and our y's were negative 75 to positive 50. That was our window. Next, we want to find the zeros. Zeros are in second trace. Takes you to a calculator menu, and you have 0 right there too. So zeros are basically x-intercepts. Except for with zeros, we don't need to write them as coordinate points, which you'll see in a little bit. So I want left bound. Now I can arrow over a whole bunch to get over there, or I can just go, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like 12. Oops, negative 12. I did that wrong. Here, let's clear that. And try again. Second trace, 0, negative 12 is definitely left of that 0, and negative 9 is definitely right of that 0. And I can guess if I want, otherwise just push enter again, and there's that 0 right there, negative 11.649. Now, AP test, 3 decimals, always, 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 always. AP graders aren't picky. If you round or truncate, just cut it off. So I would say to try and not make any silly rounding errors, just truncate to 3 decimals. And that's how you should do it in all your homework too. Unless the problem specifically says round, always truncate your answers. So we're going to truncate this to negative 11.649. So zeros are always x equals negative 11.649, comma. We have another 0 in there, so we're going to do second trace 2 again. And this 0 looks pretty close to the origin. So left bound, I'm going to say -1. And right bound, 1. Don't need to guess. So there we go, -0.406. Once again, just truncate, so -0.406. And I do say in the Canvas answers formatting sheet that's on Canvas, if you have 0.406, please type in a 0 in front of it to help your answers be correct. Now, this part's a little tricky because there is actually a third 0, but it's kind of hard to see with our window. If we were to zoom in a little closer right there, so let's do our Y window much smaller. Let's say -5 to +5. And then our x's, -2 to +2. So we zoomed in right there. Right there, you can now see there is another 0. So we're going to do second trace again to, and this time I'm just going to use the arrow feature. That's left of the 0, enter. Right of the 0, enter. And there it is, truncate it 1.056. So comma 1.056. Those are all our zeros.